She does have a selection to make. This is the last vanity on the list outside of the guest bathroom.
Thomas Guthrie, Guthrie Construction Incorporated, and we've been in business since 1978. I got involved in construction. I was 16 years old, labor, moved on to building, working with a contractor in San Francisco, building houses that are half an inch apart. Build it from the bottom up. Foundation, framing, cabinet installation, we did everything on the houses. And after a while, I started doing fix-it things for people, coming in and repairing things. And I ended up in time getting my contractor's license. I said, okay, here we go. And so it kind of morphed into this larger thing, and I took on more and more. And then as time went on, my sons got involved. And then we got to a point where Garrett was working with me and he's all, there's got to be a better way.
My name is Garrett Guthrie and I'm a project manager here at Guthrie Construction. If we were going to grow, if we were going to expand the business, I just knew immediately we'd have to start with organization. It was very important to me to take a lot of the work that my father had built into his company and translate that into some kind of digital platform. I made that my number one priority, was finding the technologies that was going to work for us as a team. It's always been kind of a fantasy before Houzz Pro. We've had spreadsheets, we've created different spreadsheets, try to stay on top of those spreadsheets, collect all of our receipts.
The typical stuff that in construction was done in the 80s and 90s, that's just how it was run. It was analog. The time cards that they hand in, the billing took a lot of time. The scheduling took a lot of time. The whiteboard or with a calendar, the physical calendar. So that was a challenge.
But what Houzz allowed us to do immediately was it had all those items in place, and as long as we put the good data in, we were immediately getting that good data back. I know there's a ton of construction management programs, CRMs out there that we could have chose from, but I really needed something that was going to be a one-stop shop. And Houzz checked all boxes when it came to scheduling, CRM, task management, delegation, and then something that kind of stood out to me was also involving our subcontractors. So everybody kind of got what they wanted from Houzz, and that created like a very holistic program to build our business around. But Houzz made it very easy to create a workflow that we could all adopt across the board. Our subcontractors adopted Houzz Pro. It allows for a much more collaborative environment for them. They get a fuller scope of the project and where they fit into it.
They can access the plans on site or on their iPads, and we can make changes, and then right there they can bring it up and say, oh, we're changing the door size, or we're adding a wall here. Bam, right there, they've got it.
Anybody can hop in at any time and view that holistic conversation and get a sense of where the project's at. In construction, your product is very ethereal. It's hard to kind of nail down. So it's something that a client can touch and feel or just have a sense of where they're at in their project. Houzz covered all those bases with their client dashboard. And the feedback from the client is very positive because it's not something they'd seen before. It's not something they'd experienced before. They would usually get updates on schedule by text or by email. Communication could be scattered. The client gets to see everything happen in real time in front of them, whether it's communication with your subs, whether it's communication with them.
They can see what was done that day. Oh, look at, they got the drywall in, the cabinets installed. We have pictures of it. They can see that someone's on the job site.
Our team members would collect all this information, photographs, videos, daily notes, any changes that might be required for the next day, collect all that information and get to present it through the dashboard. So our client feels like we're always one step ahead of them, which is something that's not very common in construction. Usually they're asking us for information or chasing us down for stuff. It puts their mind at ease, and I think in construction there's just a lot of ambiguity that happens that we're able to eliminate by keeping it all within the system. It's a unique experience. Coming from the tech background, I had done a lot of integrations for larger companies before and seen that benefit, and they're usually very specific integrations that solve a very specific problem. And Houzz, with the QuickBooks integration, solves a very large problem in construction, was having a central source of true information or true financial information. We integrated it right away, and immediately the benefits were visible to us because by putting our project data set into Houzz, it can actually complete the entire project lifecycle without a single person touching any of that data, which is pretty unique. It gives us a sense of accuracy all the time, that the numbers that we're working with are correct because they're constantly in sync with Houzz. It puts our bookkeepers' mind at ease, and it also frees up their time for more strategic conversations. We're not spending as much time on bookkeeping, we're actually spending more time on collaboration and strategy. Houzz has allowed us to build a workflow for our clients around their project. And what this allows us to do is work backwards from that dashboard. In the previous week, we'll collect all receipts and all time, which are entered into Houzz by our employees, fortunately. And that will give us that accurate job cost for the week. And we can then use that information with the client in the following week or with our accountant to make sure that we're going to stay afloat. And essentially, not having that information puts you in a little bit of peril. So by being up to date on that weekly, we know where we're at in the job at all times, if we need to adjust in real time and make those adjustments sooner than later. Something we've always wanted, that as long as we were using Houzz properly, we were getting costing immediately. Estimates and proposals for us have been a game changer, mostly because of the templating feature. As a sole proprietor, I think you can kind of tend to cap out on what you're able to accomplish, whether it's through organization or otherwise. Houzz lets us exponentially grow projects because they're templated out and because we have standard pricing. Before, where we'd probably only be able to take on a project each, because of the standardization that happens in Houzz, we're able to take on at least 3 projects each. So that's a pretty big impact to our bottom line. We try to maintain a lot of control around that client experience. Our projects and our standard pricing feels the same across the board, so we're able to consistently deliver the same experience to each client, as well as guarantee faster turnaround times, which is a very big deal in our business. Sometimes being the first to the project with the first bid has a big impact. So having that ability, and then also the digital signatures. We've had comments from many clients that, hey, this is a really streamlined process. That has been one of the reasons they've chosen us. What I think Houzz does a really good job at is taking a lot of the things that already have existed in construction and made them accessible in a digital form. So whether it's takeoffs that have been done a certain way for many years, it's not a huge leap to learn takeoffs in Houzz if you already know how to do regular takeoffs. Same thing with estimates, same thing with invoicing, same thing with change orders. It's amazing just across the board that each feature that you probably already adopted in your business, there's a very small learning curve to adopt that same feature in Houzz. And if you do, time you gain back will be pretty substantial. From a sales perspective, I do think that we get compared a lot in the sales cycle to our competitors, and one thing that we're able to convey is that extreme sense of organization. So Houzz presents their project to them in a full scope at the very beginning, and then when we get, I believe, compared to other contractors, they're getting to see that contrast of organization. Start to end dashboard with the estimate to the final payments and invoicing all happening in the same place. It creates a product for construction that has not existed before.
He wants to make this to continue on through the family, and he's building it for that. I've got 9 grandchildren, so somebody in there is going to be, like me, digging ditches to start off with and doing the work, and then getting involved and say, hey, here's something we can hand off to you. And I think that's wonderful.
Guthrie Construction is a family business, and we have formed this business to last for generations. And so we plan for our children to step into this business. So by templating it out and creating our business in-house, it's something that they can learn from.